In this supernatural horror movie, a bunch of idiotic cult kids plot the demise of every single clueless adult in this small Nebraska town because corn won't grow here, even though it's Nebraska and there's corn literally everywhere, which is why Children of the Corn proved everyone in this movie is stupid. Isaac, this indoctrinated kid, leads these other indoctrinated idiots to sacrifice this whole town, leaving only the children to be raised by an evil deity only known as
He who walks behind the rose.
And for the next 3 years, no one anywhere, especially not the government, cares when the nicest little town in Nebraska of approximately 968 people just stopped paying state and federal taxes. Before Sarah Connor was banging the macho and much more likable Kyle Reese to produce the savior of the human race from the machines, she was dating this guy named Bert, who looks like a sissier Michael Bolton. The two were traveling through rural Nebraska on their way to his new doctor job in Seattle when they purposefully decide to see the local landscape, which only consists of endless mind-numbing cornfields. Bert takes his eyes off the road for a second only to run over a bloody mannequin in the shape of a real boy. After a ridiculous amount of time trying to stop this car, Dr. Bert gropes Sarah's head for a concussion and tells her to rest as he goes to check on the dead mannequin. Instead of following her doctor's advice, she gets out of the car only to stupidly ask,
Is he?
No, he clearly just needs a good minute to walk this off. Bert instinctively thinks something is very wrong and tells Sarah to go sit in the car with the doors locked until he gets back. With a killer around, it's best to leave your concussed girlfriend in the car and go explore the killer cornfields. Sarah, who is really intelligent, goes back to the car, safely locks the doors, but leaves all the windows down. In literally seconds, Sarah falls asleep and misses out on Corn Ninja's awesome skills. In all of Dr. Bert's training and experience, he doesn't recognize blood and rubs his fingers all in it. He loads up the dead kid in the trunk of his car and hopes having a dead kid in the trunk of his car will be easily explainable to the authorities. Bert the doctor makes super educational remarks about the dead kid like this.
He was already dead when he stumbled out into the road.
What does that even mean? They stop at a gas station and get directions to Hemingford, a town that can help them with their dead kid in the trunk of their car problem. On their way, the movie music picks up so we, the audience, can understand the intensity of this couple's inability to understand simple directions or use a map. They find that they just drove around in a corn crop circle and come out back by the gas station. Bert now decides to go to Gatlin, a town the gas station guy said not to go to. Bert yells at the gas station guy who gave them clear, easily understandable directions.
Don't ever show up in my emergency room, buddy.
He won't because he's dead. Little Isaac and the rest of his creepy corn killers become determined to sacrifice the newbies in town. Sarah and Bert finally make it to town only to discover there's not a single car or person anywhere. Even though this whole town looks completely abandoned and run down, that's just not enough to keep our main characters from looking around. After trying to use the phone, they find these kids breaking into their car. They decide to chase these kids with their car, forgetting they killed one while playing this fun game earlier, and he's still in the trunk. The creepy corn car thieves suddenly disappear, and Sarah finally says the only smart thing mentioned in this movie.
There's something very strange about this town.
As they pass this house, Bert somehow notices a door close and feels that he must check it out. Bert decides residential burglary and criminal trespass are fine if you only want to use someone else's phone.
Bert, this is somebody's house.
I know. I just want to use their phone.
They find a phone and are given several clues that they should leave. But this is a horror movie, so they pilfer through the rest of this creepy abandoned house like they own it.
You're alone, Sarah?
Mini Sarah creepily says Isaac is the leader of everybody while all the adults are in the cornfield and that Isaac put them there. During this totally normal conversation with the strange, weird kid, Bert decides he needs to leave the two Sarahs alone in a house neither of them live in to walk back to the deserted town where they just came from. With all the weird, creepy crap going on, Big Sarah asks Bert,
Are we safe?
"Let's see. You killed a dead kid with your car and put him in your trunk. You found an abandoned town with little creepy car thieves. You found a little girl saying every single grown-up in town have all been put in a cornfield." Bert replies with,
Yeah, it's a little weird here, but it's safe.
"You're fine. Carry on." Bert finally makes his way to town and again can't find anyone. Not even this little corn kid he looks directly at. None of this makes Bert think anything could be very wrong, so he just keeps exploring. Meanwhile, back at the house, Corn Ninja and his corn crew kidnap Big Sarah. Bert finally realizes too late he's stupid and runs like Forrest Gump back to the house. He finds Mini Sarah, who points him to the cornfield, which magically splits open for him. Bert does what we all would do and ignores his common sense and walks right on in the magical cornfield. John Connor's mom is hoisted up on a corn cross surrounded by little corn gobblers. While in the cornfield, Bert hears church bells and interrupts a cult corn church service by pushing this little kid down. He then has the time to argue medical safety with this teenage weirdo, even though this should be the strangest thing he's ever seen. Instead of immediately running from what is mere insanity, Bert bullies this girl, proving he's the biggest idiot in the room. Bully Bert gets stabbed and runs out of the church chased by little corn mobbers. He trips literally for no reason at all other than Stephen King wrote it that way. After escaping this corn nugget circle, he loses them while hiding in this building. He suddenly sees Corn Ninja and simultaneously ducks while saying,
Shit.
giving his position away. Bert hits Corn Ninja in the shin and then literally thwarts his own getaway. Dare I say it? Because he's dumb. He's again chased by these cornholes, but is saved by Mini Sarah and her brother. Sarah Connor, who is lightly tied up and somehow now super tired, quietly hangs up on this corn cross because reasons. A corn revolt takes place between Isaac and Corn Ninja. Isaac is seized and put on the cross in Sarah's place. Corn Ninja then takes Sarah to town and screams the name of his favorite movie in the streets.
Outlander! Outlander! Outlander!
The good little corn kids show Bert where he can find Sarah, but instead he finds this kid who gets eaten by the monster from Tremors. Isaac is then slowly killed by 1984 CGI. Bert saves Sarah, but instead of running away with her, he takes the time to street preach to these kids who have tried to kill him this whole movie.
Any religion without love and compassion is false.
Corn Ninja attacks him and gets slapped around like a red-headed stepchild. Great value exorcist Isaac comes back to life and kills Corn Ninja. Stephen King's CGI Storm of the Century rolls in and they must hunker down in the barn. Suddenly, these killer corn kids are now trustworthy, and Bert devises a plan to make burnt popcorn using gasoline and a Molotov cocktail. The cornfield demon cries out in painful disgust at how bad CGI makes him look, and then erupts into a nuclear explosion that reverses itself. Wait, what? After it's all over, the couple decide to steal these two good little cornlings and live happily ever after.